All right, well, it is 1:02. I'm going to go ahead and kick this thing off. I want to welcome and thank you everybody for joining us today for part one of our three-part TrustyCare training sessions. The agenda for today, we're going to go over just kind of getting started with TrustyCare, running quotes, doing comparisons, and then the bulk upgrades. If you have any questions throughout this, please put them in the chat. I will be monitoring them as we go. If we don't get to them during the presentation, we will have a little bit of time afterwards for a little Q&A. Just a quick housekeeping, this is going to be recorded and added to the YouTube page. So if there's anything that you want to review afterwards, you can go ahead and find it over there. I will be sending an email to everybody that is in attendance with a little bit more information, anything we talk about, and it'll also have my contact information if you want to reach out and ask me anything that we did not get to. So without further ado, I am going to kick it over to Clayton Bowen. He is one of the great people over at TrustyCare, and he is going to be walking us through this session.
All right.
So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You can hear me okay, right? So today what we're going to talk about, this is a three-part training. So today we're going to talk specifically about beneficiaries. What is the beneficiary list? How to enter a single beneficiary. As part of that entry, we're going to talk about medications, pharmacies, doctors, how to enter those, and how does the radius work with that. Running a quote, there's filters and sorting, the supplements, MAPDs, the plan details and benefits page, PDPs, and the plan details page. How is that going to work as you're providing those quotes to your clients? And then the plan comparison and recommendations. And then, as Ben was saying, the bulk upload. Being able to bulk upload all of your book of business at once. We'll talk through all of that. Okay. So the first thing is when you log in to Trusty Select Pro, you will come to this screen right here. This is, sorry, I just have to look at the agenda here really quick, make sure. Okay, so this is our beneficiary list. And what this does is I think of it as a silo, like a grain silo, right? So this is where all of your beneficiaries are going to be listed. It has the plan type that is quoted. Notice some of these don't have a plan or a plan type listed. That's because, as you see, the application has already been submitted, so there's no longer an active quote open for them. Okay, they've already enrolled, so this is going to be cleared off. But this will tell you what their current quote is. It will also tell you what their lead status is. This is a manual field right here, or a manual drop down that you would change. And the benefits of this is, as you're going through and working with your clients, if you go in here and actively update this to, let's say, in progress, let's say this one is closed lost, what this means is you can come in, log in at the beginning of the day, and then you can do a filter up here at the top, and you can say, okay, I only want to look at those that are in progress today. And now you can go through this list and say, okay, these are in progress. I haven't done anything with these yet. I'm going to run some quotes, and then you can chew this list away one at a time. Then you can change these back. See how my list got smaller. So that it's a way for you to kind of manage your day as you go through this. Okay. Now, you saw me do a filter of lead status, and that filter is right here. It is in progress. I can stack these filters as well, meaning if I want a lead status of in progress, and let's say I want the plan type, I only want to look at PDPs right now. This is all of my PDPs that I need to get through right now that are in progress. Okay. If I wanted to add another one, I could do plan name. I could do application status if I wanted to. But basically, yes, these are all stackable. If you remove these X's, then it brings all of them back as it was before. These are ways to sort. So I like to call them hamburgers. Who doesn't like a good hamburger? So these are ways that you can filter, or not filter, sort. Okay, so for example, the beneficiary name, when I click on this, it will sort them by the last name in alphabetical order, ascending or descending. Okay. Now, entering a new beneficiary. So that's our beneficiary list. So entering a single beneficiary, the way I'm going to do that is up here at the very top of the screen, there's a button that says plus beneficiaries. When I click that, you're going to get three options here. The first one is the one that we are focusing on right now, and the other two is the bulk upload that we're going to talk about shortly. Okay, I'm going to click on single beneficiary, and this is where you'll enter their name, of course. So I'm going to say Clayton, real original Clay. Couldn't you come up with something better? Not today. Ben, can you give me a zip code of where you're at up there, please?
Yeah, 48375.
375. Thank you. Now, the reason I ask is because this is all, as you know, based on the region. So I want to make sure that I get the plans that are that most familiar to you. Now, if this was a county, this zip code was in multiple counties, I would have had a pop-up window that said, which county do you want? Because that county is very important in determining the price of the plans. The phone number, this is self-explanatory. It's not mandatory, but it is a nice to have, especially when you start going through the enrollment process. All of this information carries over to the application form. Now, the email address is not mandatory. What I really highly recommend, if they don't have an email, please do not put in no email at email.com. That is not needed. And actually what's going to happen is if you actually try to send something and it goes to that email address, it's going to increase our chances of our overall emails going to spam. Okay, because now that's classified as spam as it goes out. So I'd rather you just leave it blank if they don't have one, than enter one at all. Okay. The date of birth, we'll put that in here. And actually, I want to go back and talk about one more thing with the email. Just put that date of birth year in there. If you are doing this, you're entering a test beneficiary for yourself, for example, do not put your email address that you use when you log into Trusty Select Pro. Okay, that will cause it to trip over itself, and then you'll start to get weird things happening that don't normally happen if you don't use the same email address. So the way around that is I will go Clayton plus, and then I'll put in the first and last name of the beneficiary that I just entered so that I know which one. Okay. So what my system, come on, Clay. So what the system will look at now is Trusty sees this as a very unique email address, and it won't conflict with Clayton at trusty.care that I use to log in with. The domain will only see Clayton at trusty.care. They typically have this set up so that people can test with this stuff, and you will still get that email address because your domain will ignore everything after the plus and everything after up to the @ sign. Okay. Again, that's if you're entering in test beneficiaries and you're trying to enter in your own. Actually, does that make sense, Ben? Or do I need to clarify that a little bit?
No, I think it makes sense.
Okay. I accidentally deleted that. Okay. Now these little eyes, these are information bubbles. So you can learn more about what that particular field is. The effective date, current month +1 is what it defaults to. You cannot go back in time, but you can go forward in the year for when that starts calculating. Okay. The gender and the tobacco use, that is for your med sups. At this particular stage, we don't know if you're going to do a med sup or not. So we still ask that question. The income, we will automatically calculate the IRMA amount, and we will adjust the premium based on their income range if you want to. You do not have to enter this in. A lot of brokers like it, a lot of brokers don't, so that the ones that don't like it, they just don't enter in a amount there. But it will say, for example, a Silver Scripts plan that's normally $7.40 a month. That premium, if you put in an income, it might jump it to $75. Okay. And so that would be why. The selected, the current plan, if you have PDP selected or Advantage, that is what is going to determine what shows when you click this button. Okay. So I selected PDP. This is going to show all of the PDP plans available. Same thing for Advantage. So I picked Cigna Saver RX. Any questions on this page? We good in chat?
Nope, nothing so far.
Great. All right, so I'm going to hit save and continue. I can also hit save and quit if I'm just trying to create a quick profile for this beneficiary. Let's say the client was on the phone with you. Hey, Clayton, I want to come in, but I don't have time to talk right now. Okay, let me just get your quick information. Boom, save and quit, and then you have them in your system ready to go. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do save and continue. And this is where I can enter my pharmacies. This is one of the areas I can enter them. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, I have to type in at least the first 3 characters for the search to start. And this zip code is where that pharmacy is located. Okay, the radius on this is 10 miles from the center of that zip code, and it goes out. If you do live in an area of Michigan that is remote, which I know is not possible because Michigan is so highly populated everywhere in the state. But you do, I kid. There are some remote areas where you may not have a lot of selections of pharmacies. So what's going to happen is if CVS is the only one in that 10 miles, we're going to automatically go out further just to give you more options to select from. Okay. Doctors. So this will show you a couple of different things. So you can put in the type of doctor. So let's say, what's the heart doctor? Cardiologist. So I could put in a cardiologist for this zip code, and it's going to pull up all of the cardiologists within that that is registered in that zip code. Okay. Now I can also put in like a nurse practitioner if I wanted to. I can put in let's see, a PA. Any of those do show up in here. Dentists, chiropractors, they are in our system. Now keep in mind it's based on where the zip code, where that doctor is registered. Okay, they might have 3 different practices, but that zip code is where they have registered. Now the question is, Clay, do I just Google that? No. The best way to find out if you're not sure which zip code that doctor is really registered in, I typically will go to NPI registry.cms.hhs.gov. So let me actually put this in chat for you. Actually, I don't know. I can't send it to everybody, I don't think. So I'll put that in chat for you, Ben. But what this will do, and then you can send that out to everybody, I believe. What this site does is it allows you to say, okay, my doctor's name is Anderson. What was that zip code again?
48375.
375. Thank you. And then I can then say, okay, I don't have any other information. I'm going to hit search. And this will pull up all of the Andersons within that actually, we're trying to find the zip code. So I'm going to take that zip code out. Sorry about that. I'm going to do the state, Michigan, because I don't know what that zip code is. And I'm going to do search. And then this will pull up all of the Andersons. And then there is my zip code right there. Okay, so let's say Aaron Anderson is the doctor that I'm looking for. So I changed that zip code. Okay, right there. There is Dr. Anderson. Okay, so that's the quickest way. I don't recommend you go in and Google because you're going to spend a lot of time Googling, and the address zip code that you find on Google might be where their office is, but that doesn't mean that's where the doctor is registered. Okay. Adding a medication. And click add medication, and then I'm going to put in, let's say, atorvastatin tablet. Pretty straightforward with the medication entry. 90, and then the frequency. I'll add the medication.
Hey Clay, can you add an inhaler? Just I know that's one of the more tricky drugs.
Yep, I was actually going to add albuterol.
Perfect.
Now, the one thing I will say, Ben, is some of these, let's see, the package pricing and the package results are currently in a revision right now where we're adding a new database on the back end for this. So where we've had trouble in the past, we won't have that trouble anymore with the inhalers. I don't know if that's...
Oh, very nice.
It'll be so much better. Yeah. So let me put in the quantity of 1. However, what's happening here with the current iteration of the data here, we have inhaler selected, and that's in grams, the dosage, and then this is in grams, not each. Okay, so this is why we want to change this, because if I put in 1, I'm essentially saying that's 1 gram. So what I would want to do is put in, I think they come in, what is it, 10.5 gram inhalers, I think. So I'm going to put in 10.5 every month. Now, once this is released with the new data set, you would just put in 1. Okay. So that's where what you're talking about, Ben, it has been a little bit confusing just simply for that reason. So now after I put in that medication, oh, did I not hit? Darn it. I got talking and I didn't save that. I guess it would help if I save it.
It's going to be 8.5.
8.5. I knew there was a 0.5. Thank you. Okay. Inhaler 8.5. Thank you for checking on that, Ben. I need to bring you along to all of my trainings. All right, so there it is. I'm going to run that quote. So on that last screen, when I was adding the beneficiary, when I hit next, that is where it's going to take all that information that I compiled and bring me into the plan comparison. Okay. And so now, yes. Okay. So we are on track. I just want to make sure. Okay. So now what this page is going to show me is all of the plans available to me within that region that I previously selected. Okay, so that is the 48375, that zip code. And here are the plans. Now, these, you might say, Clay, why in the world are these sorted $3.20 per month, and then you have 28, and then you have 11? Why is it sorted that way? It's actually not sorting by the premium. What you see is it's sorted by the lowest estimated out of pocket plus the plan premium right here, and the highest number of drugs covered. Okay, so the highest benefit, the max benefits. So this, you can see how it gets bigger. That's why. Okay, so you might have a plan like this where it's 28 per month, but it's actually not one of the most expensive plans, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's take a look here at the filtering. So there's a couple of different options here that you can do. So 24 results. Let's say I know that they only want to do AARP. So I'm going to select United Healthcare, and this is going to bring up only those 3 plans. Okay, I no longer have to filter through all of those plans to try to find AARP when they know hands down that's the plan they want, because that's what the plan that they've been with. So, okay, so let's take a look at those. Okay, so you can do it by carrier, pharmacy, in network. So the way this works is if I select this, I'm basically saying, show me all of the plans where the pharmacy is standard or preferred. If I mark this as preferred, now it's only going to show me those plans. See how it went down from 24 to 13? It's only going to show me the plans that are preferred with this pharmacy, or this pharmacy is preferred for those plans. Okay, so it's a way for you to kind of get rid of the noise and just focus in on what you really want to look for with that. Now, before I go in and I look at the plan details, I want to keep my eye on the filtering with the Advantage plans. Okay, so right here in the top right, I'm going to click on Medicare Advantage. Now, my filters have grown because Advantage plans, as you know, there's more to them, right? You have your plan benefits, you have different special needs plans, you have doctors. So of our plans that we show 68 total. Let's say I want to see only the plans that Dr. Aaron Anderson is in network for. So I can't click on these yet because I need to activate them. So I'm going to click Get Coverage Info. That's going to go out, call the API, bring the information back in, and then it's going to activate those doctors right here. Okay, so now I can say of those 68, this doctor is not in network for any of them. Now, mind you, I picked this doctor random, so he might legitimately not be, most likely. Okay, so see this one right here. 68, and Dr. Carr is in network for 53 of them. Okay, so now I don't have to filter through any of these plans and wonder, is that doctor in network for? This doctor's in network for all of them. Okay, if I select both of these doctors, it's going to show me 0 because I'm basically telling the system I have to have both doctors in network for these. But we know Dr. Anderson here is not in network for any of them. Okay. So that's how that works with those. Now, if I wanted to see what my SNPs are, let's say I want my C-SNPs, this is going to show me the 4 C-SNPs available in that area. Same thing with the duals. There's 16 total. Okay. If you're looking for a specific HMO, the filtering would pull that out and it would show you just the HMO plans. Okay. So on and so forth. Okay. If you wanted PPO, there's your PPOs. So that's kind of a big thing with the filtering. If you wanted to sort these a specific way, let me shrink all these here real quick. If you don't like the way we're sorting these, like if you wanted to select it by premium, which Advantage typically there's most of them are 0 anyway, but if you wanted to do it by premium, you would click on advanced sort options and then click drug premium. Okay. And then you can remove ours. And then at that point, hit apply. And then now it's going to resort and show you in the order that you select. Okay. Any questions on the plan comparison screens?
Nothing in the chat at the moment.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's take a look at the PDP details page. Actually, the one thing I didn't talk about is this right here. So this label right here, we're going to talk about this in subsequent trainings this week. I think enrollment is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
I think direct enrollment is Thursday.
Is it Thursday? Okay. So you'll want to come back for that because this allows you to directly enroll right from Trusty, and that gets sent directly into the carrier system. So you don't have to leave Trusty to go to the carrier site. You don't have to do it on paper. You don't have to do anything. It will automatically enroll directly from Trusty Select Pro. Now, some plans don't have that capability. Okay. These are being updated weekly. Okay. So some carriers, you just won't ever have direct enrollment available because some of them may not have the technology. They're not capable to do that, right? So some of them never will, but these do update on a weekly basis. So keep an eye on that. Now, the Part D senior savings, what this means is, yes, while we know there is a $35 cap, some of these plans have a deeper savings available, okay, for insulins. So these, if we did have an insulin on here, it might be that plan has $5 for insulins, okay? So what I want to do at this point is go into the details, and this is going to pull up the plan comparison page, and this page will show us pretty much everything in one view. And this is what I love about this view, because when I look at other systems, you have to scroll. You might be familiar with that on Medicare.gov. You have to scroll to try to get this information. And sometimes it takes a little bit, but this will show you the tier and the cost of that medication. Okay. The before deductible, if it, excuse me, if the tier that they are in is not required to hit the deductible, the 505, then that will show the retail, I'm sorry, let me start over, Ben. If the tier of the medication is deductible exempt, you will see the before deductible being what the plan coverage is for the initial phase in the before deductible. Okay, so you can see the initial phase is $2. This is $2. Okay, if that is required to meet the deductible, you can see this one here, albuterol. Now we see the retail cost right there. Okay. We do have an enhancement request going out where we will have the retail cost showing no matter what. Okay, so that's something that's forthcoming. And that'll be a big change. That'll be very helpful with that. Okay, so now with this, you can see my effective date was April 1st. So you can see my costs of $34.13 is going to carry me all the way through the year. This, we do see that the doctors, we did enter doctor's name, so this is going to appear. We know that PDPs, we don't really care about the doctors, but this is a carryover from the MAPD side. The CVS, this is a preferred in-network. So all of our plans, when we do the comparison and the quoting, it does pull up based on retail preferred pricing, regardless of the pharmacy. So if that pharmacy is showing standard, let's pretend that this is standard, I would then come up here, drop this down and say standard, and then it would show me the standard pricing and the standard tier cost overview for that. Okay. And then all of your pricing will be updated as well based on standard pricing. Okay. You can email and you can print this. Okay. So remember, I was saying that this quote, if I want to send this to myself, there's that email address. It just sent it to myself. So I can actually pull that up. And I emailed that. So I can show you here really quickly. So this is, it has an attachment of that PDF. Here's the quote. And then that is what it looks like right there. Okay. So it takes that plan information, oops, all those advertisements, and then it sums it up into that PDF where it has your preferred and then your standard. So we do show it both ways so they can kind of see what the differences are with that. Okay. Any questions so far?
Nope, not on this.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So let's go back and let's let me see. So filters, MAPD. Let's talk about the MAPD. So we're going to come back here and we're going to click on Medicare Advantage plan. And we already talked about the filtering. The enrollment is the same. Part B give back is going to be one big difference here. So this is, if that is something where they do give you a credit back for the on the Part B premium, the way you will see what that premium is or that give back is you would hit save on that plan and then it will show you right here. Okay, so they will get $100 back. So the Part B premium will only be $64.90 after that give back. Okay. Now looking at the details of this these plans, I'm going to click on view details, and the first thing, oh, let's see, that took me to PDP. Sorry about that. All right, so let's take a look at McLaren. This one, when you do an MAPD, it's going to bring you right to the benefit information. Okay, so we have the drug cost and we have the plan, the health plan in this quick summarization right here. This will show you all of the plan benefit information all the way through. If there is a red check mark, it's in network. If there is, let's say, a prior authorization that's needed, you can see these check marks here. They would need to get prior auth for those. But you can see how it breaks out all of the benefits as reported to CMS by that particular plan. So on October 1st, when all the plan benefits drop, all the new plans drop, this is where we're getting that information directly from CMS, okay, as they report that. And then we display that here. Now, the drug, the Part D details for this is the same as the PDP. Obviously, the costs and stuff are going to be different, but there's your tier, the medication cost, and then your doctor. So for this particular plan for McLaren, Dr. Carr is not in network for this. This is one of the ones that dropped off. Okay. So neither of these doctors, so if they're really important and they have to have those doctors, this is probably not the plan for them. Okay. This is a standard pharmacy as well. So the one thing that you would want to be mindful of is changing this to the retail standard to get those costs. I don't think they changed on this one. Sometimes there's no difference between standard and preferred. Let's see, as far as the printing and emailing, that is the same. So you can email, you can print that PDF. Let me just pull that up to show you. This looks just a little bit different only because you have the plan benefits on here as well. There's a page for the doctors, and then here's the drug information, preferred standard, and then you have your mail order, preferred and standard, and then here's your benefits. Okay, so they would get all of this information in that email as well that you send. Okay, so they can review that. Now, comparing plans, you can compare up to 2 plans at this time by clicking the check mark here, and then you click on compare plans. Okay, we are looking at an enhancement down the road for 3 plans because that is kind of what everybody's used to. The big thing here is the comparison is on the drugs. It's not comparing the benefits yet. Okay, that is an enhancement that we are working on to have that rolled out as well. So this is the drugs. Okay, so we have our standard, preferred, monthly cost breakdown, preferred right here, and standard for each one. And then you have your doctor coverage here as well. Okay, for each plan. I just happen to be comparing 2 McLaren plans. So any questions on that piece? Okay, so let's talk about the Medigap supplements. Okay, and then we'll move on to let's see, we've covered that. Then we'll move on to the bulk upload. Okay, so the MedSup, if I want to quote the Medigap supplement plan, I first have to save a PDP. That then will bring me to this screen. This is the plan recommendation screen. And then here is my Medigap supplement. Now, our backend on this is CSG. So if you currently use CSG, it's the same data. So you have your options for your high deductible, F and G. You have your all the other plans too, the M, the N's. So we'll stick with the most common, which is G. These right here are just pre-filters that you want to set. So if you only want to show select plans in the quote, you can select that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run that Medigap quote, and it's going to pull in all of the MedSups available per the zip code that I put in earlier. Okay, let me grab a drink here really quick. Sorry. It's a problem with talking a lot. You got to drink. Now, notice this scroll bar is really, really little. That means there's a lot of plans. Clay, I don't want to have to go through all of these. I just want to filter down to the ones that would apply to their situation. So let's say issue age that's the plan that I want to look at. This is going to show me the 2 plans available that are issue age. Okay, and then from here, I can say view details for either one of these. It gives you the years in market and what their rating is. I'm going to click view details, and here's where it's going to show you the other benefits. So your foreign travel, your part A, part B, and then your DME, which is parts A and B. Okay, and your home health care. Okay, so again, you can print this, you can save this, or you can email this. Okay, so again, it's going to send that quote to Clayton. And then it's that quick, and then you can move on. Now, let's say this is the plan I want. I can hit save this plan. Before I do that, I want to point out that let's say that you notice that this might be $3 cheaper in Trusty than what it is, if you go out to CSG. Well, that's because if that particular plan has an EFT benefit, like a discount for the electronic funds transfer, then that will be reflected in this automatically. Okay, so that might be one thing too to keep in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save this plan. Now you can see this plan that I selected is here. Now I can come down here at the very bottom and hit save. I have to hit save twice because I don't know yet if I really want that Medigap plan. I may want to look at my Medicare Advantage still and see if maybe that's the better option. Maybe they don't travel as much as they think they do. So then I can probably make more sense to put them into Advantage plan. So then I can look over here and see. Now we do also show, let's see, over here on the left, you see the original Medicare and Medigap. This is the full summary here. There's your IRMA adjustment. We don't have that. Your deductibles, the Medigap piece. Let's say that I do want to go with this plan and this Part D. I'm going to hit save again. And now that will show up here on my beneficiary list. I want to point out this little plus sign. Anytime you see this plus sign, that means, like this one right here, this one does not have that. That means I have a med sup plan on here as well. Okay. So it's a PDP plus your med sup. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions on the med sup at this point, Ben?
Yeah, so we did have a question. Somebody's wondering why we have to save the PDP first for Medigap quotes.
So that's a great question. That's actually, we've gone through and looked at the kind of the workflow. One of the things we want to do is eliminate as many clicks as possible. And we found in our studies that that's actually just adding more clicks. And so that's actually one thing that we want to change. I don't know when that will happen, but that's the reasoning behind why we did that initially is typically you have a drug plan to go with that. Not always, because you might get your drugs through the VA or something like that. But that is something that's how we designed that initially. But based on feedback, like what you're just giving right now, that's helpful in that change of having to save that to get to the med sup.
So if so if we're direct enrolling somebody with a Medigap plan, it doesn't matter what PDP, like if we're not doing the PDP, we're only doing the med sup. Does it matter that the PDP is on there?
Well, right now we don't do the Medigap supplement enrollments directly through Trusty. We only do the PDP and the MAPD. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that answer their question?
I think so. Anonymous, if you have any follow-ups, just type them in and we'll get back to it.
Anonymous, I like that name. It has a ring to it. Jokes are funny. Okay. So now let's talk about, as per the agenda, unless somebody has anything else that I want to bring up with those, we're ready to start talking about the bulk upload. So when you use the system, there is the ability for you to upload all of your beneficiaries at one time. Okay, so you don't have to go through all those steps of adding a single beneficiary. Clay, I have 700 clients. I'm not going to be able to get through all those. No, I don't want you to. I will personally write you a letter and say you're crazy. So what we want to do is we want to download the Trusty Consumer template. What this template does is it's kind of like the map in our system where you can download this as soon as it pulls up Excel. This will allow you to copy and paste the information from, let's say you use Agency Block. You can do an export from Agency Block into an Excel or a CSV, and then you will copy each column at a, take that one column, copy paste, and then copy that other column. That part is the most tedious part of this whole thing, okay, is just copying the fields you need. A lot of people, sometimes they will start out fresh and they just say, I want first name, last name, email or phone number, and I'm going to do the rest, okay, in Trusty. So what I want to do, or actually before I do, let me point this out. On the very first tab, there are specific instructions on how to use this form, okay? So what each field means. So personal information is here, and then what is the example of the format? Okay, so we know the phone number doesn't have any hyphens in there at all. Okay, so we want to be sure that it's formatted that way, or else it won't come over at all. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just enter in. That's my dog, by the way. I don't have an email for Milo, but I'm going to put in his phone number. If you've never met a dog with a phone, meet Milo. Let's see, is that right? Is that 10 digits? 3, 6, 10. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I don't have any hyphens in there at all. I don't have an email, and that's fine. You only need to have the email or the phone number, but if you have both, put both in. The other thing I can put in, really any information that I have in here. So let's say 123 street address. Welcome to Queen Creek, Arizona. If I don't know the county, it's going to pull that in automatically. It's going to do that lookup there. The date of birth. So the big thing too is to keep an eye on these. See, when I hover, those little red tick marks, that's information for you to know, okay, what does the format need to be for that date of birth? MMDDYYY. Okay. So 01/01 1950. Man, that dog has lived a long time. Normally they live 10 years. And then let's see, any other information you want to put in here. Some of this information we don't have visible in the product yet, like your height and weight, the BMI information. That is, you just leave that stuff out. The MBI, you can put their MBI number in here if you want to. I don't have the exact format of that, but we'll just pretend that that's the MBI. And then let's see, this lead information, this would be where that came from. Okay, so upline or self-generated, you don't have to fill this in at all. Anything that comes in from the bulk upload is always going to have the lead status of lead. And that is right here. Okay, so when I say lead status, it's this right here. So you don't have to fill this out. Okay. The referring producer first name, referring producer last name, this, there is no field on the front end for this, so you don't have to fill that out either. Okay, so the fields that you do have to fill out are in red. Okay, that's it. So really you just need those 4. I'm going to go ahead and save this, but notice I am not going to change the title of this document at all. It's going to always stay Trusted Consumer Template. That's because that is how our system recognizes that this is a bulk import. If you change any of that, it's not going to know what to do with that file. And one of the big things too, you'll see column B. Well, where's A? Don't worry about that. We have this set up to where the program will make the matches based on this, so no need to do that. The one thing I do want to caution you on is if you take all of the data from, let's say, Agency Block or any other tool, and you copy all of the data like this, and then you paste it all at once on top of all of this, that's going to cause issues as well, because we have to have these headings here. We can't change any of that. Okay. I know that sounds like a lot, but basically, rule of thumb, just put in for sure first name, last name, email or phone number. If you have the date of birth, you can put that in, street address, any information that you need and want to capture in the system. Just be sure that you are following these little tick callouts here. I don't know what you call those. I call them little ticks. But be sure you follow those. Okay. Any questions on this before I go in and do the actual import?
So not necessarily on this, but I do have a couple of questions that came in. Back to the meta gaps, we were just wondering why would they not have one tab to quote only the meta cap? Is that something that might be coming in the future?
That would be an enhancement that we would have to look at. Yeah. So what I would say with that, Ben, is as some of your agents have ideas like that, please capture those and then go out to the portal, and there is a feature request section. We want to hear about all of that stuff. So as you guys are all using the system and you think, oh, it would be so much better if we could do this, or this would be great if it could do this, please get that over to Ben, and then Ben can take and then submit that over to us so that we can get that in and consider that for a future release. We only get better by that kind of feedback. Okay. And we want to get better for you. Okay. I don't know if that answers that question, but that would
I see
definitely
the agent name. I'll talk to him later on if we need any more clarification. Next question is if you are marketing on Facebook, is TrustyCare Facebook form synced?
Facebook form synced. Do you mean adding a beneficiary or capturing a lead to come into Trusty? Can you
Uh,
expand on that?
we'll see if
I'm
I
betting they're
can get
probably meaning capturing that lead
Oh,
to where
yes,
automatic.
and yes.
Okay, I'm on the same page with you then. Okay, we do have a tool that you can use. We would have to generate that HTML code, but I don't think it would work on a Facebook. I think what you'll have to do, we call it Lead Builder. And basically what it is a form that your potential customers can fill out on your website. They would put in their first name, their last name, phone number, email address. And then once they hit next, that generates that lead directly into Trusty Select Pro. You can't inlay HTML code in Facebook. So that's why I'm saying you need to have some sort of a main domain to link that back to from Facebook, which you can do, by putting a link out button in Facebook, I believe. And then that could link to that page, and then they could fill the form out from there. So it is doable. What I would need from that is you need to submit something over to Ben, and then Ben, you can create that ticket with us, and then we can get that HTML code written for you. So I guess in essence, yes, you can do that. You'll just have to create your own page for that lead builder to live. Does that answer your question?
I don't see a response, but I'll reach out to the agent as well. Oh, yep, he said yes. So
Okay, perfect. Yeah, just let us know. We'll just need to know the agency name, the agent name, the email address, and phone number.
yep,
We can
so
talk
Kurt,
about
I'll
that
get with you
offline then.
after and we can get that information from you.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's go in here and I'm going to save this template. I never can tell if that save. Okay, yeah, it clicked. So I'm not going to change anything. Now I'm going to go back over into Trusty, and I'm going to click on add beneficiaries, and I'm going to do upload bulk consumer. Now, mind you, I just entered one. Just pretend that there's 800 here. I just don't have time to enter 800 right now to copy any over. So I'm going to do upload bulk consumer. Now I'm going to select that document, see Trusty Consumer, and it's going to go in and take it, and it's going to say, hey, great. All beneficiaries, this message isn't quite crystal clear. Concentra, I think we need to create a ticket for this because that sentence doesn't really jive. They were all uploaded successfully. When I click that X, Milo is going to show. Let's see, where is Milo? There we go. It was the MBI. Okay, so the MBI has a specific value validation that it takes place when it's doing that bulk upload. So there is Milo. Okay. Now this created that beneficiary for me, and I can now go into the profile, and this is where I can see all that information I entered, right? So there's my Queen Creek, there is my street address, Milo's phone number. But notice I didn't put any of this stuff in the bulk upload. If I wanted to, I could then come over to the bulk upload and add that information in bulk if I wanted to. So let's say I want to change all 500 of these customers. I want to say smoking status no. I can do that in bulk as well, and I can come back and make that change across the board for every single one of these. Okay, so that is successful. Now when I go into Milo, there's the smoking status no, and there's the gender. Okay, so it's not going to add him twice. It's just going to add the information that you added in that bulk upload. So sometimes it has more benefits than just doing an upload from scratch. Okay, any questions on the bulk upload? I do have a video, and I do have step-by-step walkthrough with that bulk upload as well.
I'm not seeing any questions at the moment.
Okay. We are about 4.5 minutes early being finished. Is there anything specific that you want me to talk through? I've talked about everything here that we have on the agenda for today.
I don't. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat. I'm just going to say that the agenda for tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the blue button imports, going over SOAs and how that's done on TrustyCare, and then the profile beneficiary dashboard. So that's going to be tomorrow, Wednesday's agenda, and then Thursday we're going to go over the direct enrollment process, call recording done directly on TrustyCare, and then going over some of the support and training options available. And again, these are all going to be recorded and added to the YouTube page afterwards.
It's
So
all I have, Ben, to not start talking about tomorrow's agenda. I'm holding myself back right now.
we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Okay. Well, feel free to let us know if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to answer those. And I look forward to seeing you guys out tomorrow.
All right. Thanks a lot, Clayton. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. Hopefully, I will see you all tomorrow.
Yep.
Thank you much.
Bye-bye.